Love Letters, Saturday, 3/8/25. It might seem sad, but I'm not sure I've ever been in love. They say it means putting the person above yourself, and seeing as I really love myself, I don't think I've been there before. That said, here's a letter to those who have gotten close. Victoria, Leslie, Chad, Lady Chad, Mary, Jael, and Lauren, each with qualities to melt my heart in one way or another. More than not, it's a smile at the right time, a look in the eyes telling you exactly how they feel about you. The body language that says, I hear you, not to mention a body worth loving. I mean, after all, where would we be without the sexual tree? The hands, the face, the hair, the eyes, the legs, the feet, and the sweet. I wish I were in love. The feelings of getting close have been wonderful. But I can see how a broken heart can be devastating, so I just don't know. I'm sure it's better to love and feel the pain of sorrow than to have never felt it all. Isn't that what they say? There have been several times that women told me they loved me, which is always nice. Well, actually twice. And hearing this pulled me closer to love. Is how can one not feel some greater affection for those who profess their love for you? So to those who have gotten me close, thank you. The kisses, the laughter, the affection and direction to enhance my life, though not enough to become my wife. So where do we go from here? It will take a lot to find love. Seinfeld once talked about comedians as a special group of humans, their brains moving faster and wittier than others, knowing what someone might say next or how to turn every situation into comedy. It's verbal volleyball and a connection that goes beyond the norms of many in our society. I long for that. I really do. But there's also the necessity of getting me with all my energy, my good looks, my passion for breaking the waves and exploring the insanity of life that we live with, the warmth and the intensity and curiosity and vulnerability and equality. And, well, let's face it, the hands, the face, the hair, the smiles, the legs, and the sweet. And then there's hope. Until then, it's a life of zen.
Dear, it is March here in New York. As it gets warmer, people start raising their heads a little bit, and there is more eye contact. The sun also shines in different areas of my house. This, to you, only sounds so yours. You always so warm. So I thought of you. You came to my head like a gust of wind. I have not seen you in 12 years. And when I saw you, we spent 5 months together. I came to you really trying to love you. I came to you with plans. I came to you at 23. 3 years earlier, before I left, I looked back and I told you in my heart I would come back to you. And here I was, back again. We found each other strangers. We all changed, but you were not the same. I despised you, and you made my family scared. Ever since, I lived in so many places and cities. I met so many people. I was sometimes welcomed and other times pushed. I was sometimes happy, and I was many times not. I made a life in New York with late night in jazz clubs, friends like family, love stories, dances of languages, and yet I always thought of you. Do you ever think of me, Venezuela?
It's weird how much breakups affect me because none of my grandparents are alive, and I didn't shed a single tear for any of them. But a girl can come into my life, have really good sex with me for a couple months, and leave without saying goodbye, and I'd be sobbing in the shower for hours. It's like, why am I like this towards this, but I'm not like that towards that? And it's something that I'm trying to figure out. It's like, how do I even explain that to my grandma? You know, maybe if you had sex with me as good as she did back then, you know, maybe something would be coming out. But I'm sorry, Grandma.
So I came to New York to study acting 6 months ago. Time flies. So I go to drama school almost every day. I performed the Japanese version of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And I met a lot of staff and director. And I thought, oh, the world is large. I want to go to abroad, and came here. But I couldn't speak and understand English at all. So I was always struggling. But New York is nice city. I met a lot of kind person. So I love New York. And I was always struggling, but keep doing now. Yeah. So I believe I can do it, and I'll keep trying.
What was born a distraction, an escape, became part of the focus. Now I have two monumentally impactful experiences, open-ended mysteries that hold my mind in persistent captivity. My permanent addiction and the beginning of a new one, a fixation that has survived great distances and now poses itself out of control. I didn't know it was possible to feel this much. I didn't know how these winds could uproot my sanity. I didn't know of my ability to latch onto suboptimal magnetic fields. My current coordinates offer no cooperation whatsoever. Every day I'm faced with the impasse of the continental distance from the one right in front of me and the skin-to-skin closeness with the one in the opposite hemisphere. But now I know a little bit more. In opposite ways, they both cowardly hide their emotions, one through the influence of substances, the other through the soberness of his rambling thoughts. And I am the one trying to navigate, operate, oscillate, permeate, investigate, and assimilate what could possibly be taking place, trying to make sense of this discombobulation I can't seem to punctuate. When one night I am the one who possesses the organ they want to penetrate, the eyes that make their problems evaporate, the philosophies that bring their pulses to accelerate, the ears that listen to the love they predicate, and all the things that impulsively emerge from their hearts without debate, only for it all to be erased the next day. They say men are the sane ones. Then explain to me, how is it rational to run away from your emotions so much that you are not aware of the calamitous pain you cause those around you? How is my premenstrual syndrome such a societal liability when men seem to be constantly in emotional distress? I only go through that a few days a month. I fell in love with a coward, an ambiguous, volatile, elusive, fleeting being that owns me. Concomitantly, I am deeply captivated by a vertiginously seductive man, a problematic, equivocal, reckless, hurtful being that turned me upside down. Within 2 months, I've been completely decimated by the unfolding of years of history, stories I've never been able to fully experience, narratives I was never allowed to develop wholly. I never fully gave in because the walls I'm facing are just too tall, and to get out of this, it feels like I have no choice but to fall into an abyss. Now I have nothing. All I'm left with are these naked feelings, so eager to be expressed, sheltered, nurtured, embraced. All I'm left with are these convoluted questions, restlessly awaiting to be answered.
So I've stayed patient throughout this entire process, but now I feel like it's important to speak my truth. The good in me really wants to believe that you have the capacity for accountability and change, but for that, you kind of have to face the painful truth of what you've done and who you are. And I hope you're able to take a hard look at where you've been and where you want to go. So for the past 2 years, you preached communication, but when it really mattered, you failed, and I didn't feel heard at all. And even now, it's been like pulling teeth to resolve the current situation, the issue with my stuff or my money. And it's been a struggle despite my concerted efforts to not get angry or to get too emotional. And I know everything about you, like your favorite books, your teams, your heroes, and your own struggles. But right now, I'm left wondering if you ever took the time to truly understand me or care for me the way I did for you. And I'm still left wondering, was it all just an act? Meeting you changed my life, but not in the way I hoped. I gave everything in this relationship, my time, my love, my money, my trust, and I thought sincerely that we were building something together. And from the beginning, you pushed me to believe it, but in the end, I was the only one making sacrifices, and you never fought for us or for me. And I know that relationships are really complex and like nobody's perfect, but the way you handled our challenges, which were challenges I wasn't even aware of until 2 months ago, caused me extreme pain. It's not just a breakup, it's trauma that I have to process now. And unfortunately, I've been diagnosed PTSD from this entire thing, and I know you, of all people, should understand the weight of that. And it's something that I have to deal with for the foreseeable future, and I have to deal with it on my own, and I know you will never take accountability for it. And for the past 2 months, I've tried to understand you, but it's clear we had completely different values, and that difference wasn't just small things about like politics or humor. It was about how we see love or respect. And I never thought in a million years that I'd be cheated on by you, but I feel like you took advantage of my trust and let me down in ways that are extremely hard to even put in words. And you might dismiss me as just another ex, but deep down, I know you know that you lost something that was really important. I truly loved and wanted the best for you. I gave you my heart, and you only loved permanent scars and trauma. And to be honest, it's unlikely you're ever going to meet someone like me again. Someone like me who was kind, capable, and cultured. And I was also someone who was willing to give everything for you. And I hope that one day that realization sits with you, because it's the truth that you have to face eventually. And I think you like the idea of love and chase the thrill of it, but struggle with actual intimacy or commitment. You might not be ready for all the things you've always said you wanted in life, being a husband or a father, living abroad or retiring, until you do the work to be a better person, not just for others, but for yourself. And you have to face your own demons, because everyone else does eventually. And I hope for your sake that you reflect on your behavior and how they affect others. You need to sincerely work on yourself, because the way you handle things made a lasting impact, not just on me, but on your family and friends. Please don't twist what happened to everyone to make yourself look good. Own up to what you did. This situation has already brought me enough shame and hurt, and you should honestly be embarrassed for your behavior and actions as a grown man. You are simply just, unfortunately, another abuser in my life, and potentially no good has come from this, and I want you to sit with it and just realize that no amount of running away is ever going to change what you've done.
Grab your voodoo dolls. You're standing at the crossroads. The pins are going deeper, and there's no escaping fear. You're far away, not close, not near. Regrets abound. How I wish that you could hear. Voodoo. It's called We Are. We are connected in so many ways. It weeps, it hurts, it cries in vain. So hard to understand the ache of joy that drives insane. This soul, this being resuscitates. We are.
This is a love letter to love. To loud love in silent solitude and space. To spontaneous love when a toddler smiles at you. To enduring love in friends who've seen your changing face and loved each version of you, faithful, strong, and true. To quiet love that beats beyond the world's constraint. To tough love shown as mirrors when your sight grows dim. To romance, in first kisses and hands that hold through 37 years of togetherness. To unconditional love as nature paints the sky for you. To dopamine love, escaping to dimensions new. To first love, sweet, pure, and whole. To platonic love, like warm dal khichdi, coming through to heal your tiny glitches or your mighty soul. To resilient love that breathes in the darkest of nights. To kind love from strangers offering their aid. To insane love that stays when context turns to flight. To radiant love, to those who are love. To timeless love from souls now passed beyond our view, who send their kisses through clouds of memory, multiplied by distance, whispering to you, hey, you're loved. To love in all its forms, to love.
Dear you, I am so proud of you. I'm proud of how far you've come, the progress you've made. You've been through so much hardships that most people don't even know about. You've been in the darkest times of your life and managed to make it through. You persevered. You grew. Keep on doing the great job that you do every day. Keep on smiling. Keep on showing up. Keep trying new things and taking the leap. And don't ever forget that you deserve to be here. You deserve to be loved and to be loved for you. I'm proud of you. I love you. You're a good person. Sincerely, me.
Tell me something odd, like the time you said you fell apart. Tell me something now. Do you think it's your fault from the very start? 'Cause it's not true. You're only you. Don't let those thoughts take over your heart. Breathe in, breathe out, till the pain just stops. Let me tell you now, there are still good things coming out from you. Let me tell you now, all the beautiful things that you can do.
This is Taijiro Arakawa. I'm a boxing coach. I can teach boxing in a fun and stylish way, not only to those who are interested in boxing, but also to those who aren't. Taijiro, you are always thinking about how to satisfy your students, aren't you? You understand their individual characteristics and goals, and you adjust your coaching accordingly. That's an amazing skill. Your students must be truly satisfied with your coaching. But recently, you've been struggling, haven't you? What happened? Let's talk a little about the tough times you went through. The other day, one of your students, whom you have been coaching with great dedication, suddenly collapsed at home. He was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, there was no serious problem, and boxing had nothing to do with it. But you couldn't help but wonder, should he really continue boxing? He's a talented 17 years old, and you had high hopes for his future. Your feelings at that time were complicated, weren't they? It was tough. At the same time, the boxing class you have been coaching for a year at the gym was suddenly shut down due to a change in the gym's direction. That was frustrating and disappointing, wasn't it? It was tough. Then, the students you've been coaching the longest told you they were considering returning to Japan. That made you reflect on your purpose and your situation in New York. It was tough. But you didn't just stop there. You thought carefully. Is this really how you want to be? Did worrying ever change anything? No, it didn't. Are you going to let frustration control you again? Are you going to stop moving forward? If you don't want to there, then change your mindset. Maybe this is a moment of change given to you so you can build a new environment for yourself. The 17-year-old student truly loves boxing. The doctor said there is no medical reason he can't continue. Then why now? Have him get regular checkups and continue boxing under careful supervision. You can monitor his condition after every round, enjoying his safety during training and matches. Even if he can't compete, he can still train in a way that avoids heavy contact. You can prioritize his health while still letting him enjoy boxing. As for the gyms shutting down its boxing class, this was an opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and take action. And as a result, you gained new members. Plus, the past years have been invaluable in improving your coaching skills. Regarding the students who's considering returning to Japan, first of all, it's great that they feel comfortable enough to come to you for advice. And their situation made you reflect once again. What do you truly want to achieve in New York? I want to share the fun and stylish aspects of boxing with people in New York, whether they are interested in boxing or not. Taijiro, you've got students ranging from 7-year-old girls to 60-year-old men, all enjoying boxing with you. What do they tell you? Boxing is fun. I feel cooler. I'm happy I can throw punches with good form. I've gained confidence. I'd be sad if you left. Please teach me more. Your teaching is easy to understand. You are a good coach. You are doing great. Have confidence. The struggles you are faced and the ones ahead are all part of your journey to success. Thanks.
All right, this is called All I've Got. Walking a fine line, and I don't know what it takes to shine. Ooh, caught me by surprise. Here I thought you were on my side, yeah, yeah. Never missed a moment. Our heartbeats have purpose, unified as always. But some days I'm not certain, and it doesn't help that we misuse our sorries. Sorry you feel let down, sorry you feel so small, sorry it didn't work out. Whatever got me running through life like a zombie, fighting for all I've got, embodying all I'm not. Sleep is an afterthought, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pop off, deep breath, come through. What's next? I look to you and I feel regret. You're someone close that I love and respect. I can't forget. Through all the trials that we face, evolves the bond, it sets the pace. And we both know this, if we'd understand our space. How do we make strides to move to points beyond our pride? I'm in this for the long run, I'd put it all down on the line. And it doesn't help that we misuse our sorries. Sorry you feel let down, sorry you feel so small, sorry it didn't work out. Whatever got me running through life like a zombie, fighting for all I've got, embodying all I'm not. Sleep is an afterthought, okay. And that's it. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Black River Symphony. Here we are, in between we all. So let's do it. Never fail, always prevail. We are alive as long as we turn the pages that are loaded with old terms that do not mean a thing. Let's start new. Release your heart. Release your soul. Live abundantly and love with all you got because there is only one life. Centipedes flying free with fireflies. As I stand in the field waiting amongst these times that pass by all just like a blink of an eye. We are piranhas swimming naked in the night, together with the Amazonians of the Black River. The symphony of the animals invade our souls, break the structures, retranslate the script, unintentionally precise. Screaming the streams of whispers, dangerous and sweet, loud and silent, all in the essence of you. I wonder if the bright side goes as deep as the dark side. I stop my bike to look at the sun through these branches, and I think and I keep on, thinking that question only leaves me with hope. And I'm not talking about the shine I already know, because I'm still below. Sun, heart, love, you give me hope, as we both are as lost as we are. Even at times when we burn so much, we reach states where we cannot love, because the fire goes inwards and burns, because of so many walls, so many walls, so many walls. Love, I call your name and the name of love, with a new moon rising. Beginnings, retakes, transformations, fire, birth of fire. And I go back to my inner waters, to my cave. Wanna come and play? I'll meet you tomorrow on March 16th at the cave. So we have tea with the gods of the Olympus in paradise and reach high levels. My levels go up and down just like ETH does, in healthy trends of ups and downs, but always heading upwards know we all go, even if we are heading down. Only that now I'm letting go with no patterns, just like fire and water do, to find myself in light and rainbows, if I could only go back to that state that reaches all heavens.
Oh, thank you, that was beautiful. Thanks, Catalina.
Thank you. I got goosebumps.
Dear Mom, amongst the possessions of yours I got to keep, besides the old photo albums, a few tops I remember you wearing, and several pairs of very dangly gold earrings that usually feel too dressed up for my pandemic casual attire, is a letter from you to Dad. It's inside a handwritten envelope with your distinctive handwriting. The return address is the Brooklyn residence where you grew up, and the destination address is the first home Dad had outside of New York City, in the suburb of Wappingers Falls when he'd finished school and was off on his own working as an engineer at IBM. The date stamp shows September 29th, 1976, less than 2 months before you got married. For a long time, I hesitated to open this letter. Would it be invading your privacy? Was it my place? I wasn't sure. I just knew it needed to stay in existence, and I could keep the letter in a safe place, so I did. At last, one day, I sat in my softest chair and braced myself to open it and read the contents. There was no particular reason why I decided on that particular day, other than my gut told me the day was right. I sure hope that was the right call, and you're not furious at me from the afterlife. Inside, there was not only a neatly folded 2-page letter, but a postcard that struck me as looking incredibly Irish. A person sits in a mound of grass beaming, wearing green head to toe and a top hat of sorts, surrounded by emerald flowers. The text surrounding the illustration on the postcard reads, "Nothing special, exciting, or new, just want you to know I'm thinking of you." And on the other side is a short message from you talking about how anxiously you were waiting to see Dad on that Friday and how you loved him to pieces. The postcard and the letter itself are from that same time frame, just a few weeks apart and very much echo each other in sentiment. In brown cursive, you explain in the letter now how before wedding bells consume you both, you wanted to take time to write down your thoughts. These thoughts turned out to be sweet and pure. In every sense, this is a love letter proclaiming how much you care for Dad. I love you more than I could ever believe someone could ever love someone else. You make me feel alive, warm, and even beautiful, even when I know I couldn't possibly be. The PS at the bottom has you half mocking how sentimental you are, or you found yourself, but expressing your hope to always be that sentimental. I'm not sure what Dad's reply was, if he wrote letters like this in return, or if it was a one-sided endeavor. But what a strange, glorious, life-affirming thing to read. I never tended to think of you, my parents, as romantics, as two people who love each other, yes, but I also saw enough arguments and struggles to question that love and worry about it sometimes. In those fights while I was growing up, I felt sure enough that a split would never happen, though don't ask me from where that certainty came. The letter, though, gives me hope and some reassurance. It's, in a sense, a sappy time machine in an era before kids, when you were young and impulsive. Discovering that you and Dad met and within months were married caught me off guard, as did the idea that a bar and an offer to dance was the actual setting and start of your courtship. Seeing your parents as individuals who had lives before crossing paths is strange enough. Finding out that there was such a quick spark and a near instant desire to be together forever is next level. Knowing this, though, makes me want to keep believing in a pure kind of love that doesn't involve head games or dating apps or years of on-off trials or doubt. What I sense in the letter is a clarity and a willingness to just give in to love. It's so nice to see from anyone, but especially the two people who are responsible for bringing me into this world.
If everyone I love is already in love, is there room for more of it? Not with them, but within the eternity of a probable cause. Probably not. Hardly at all. Hearts heartily feast and starve their host who make a break for it, big stars, and lights in their faces, some undesignated space in the universe where seemingly I cannot be. Well, on papyrus it all looks well. The ink doesn't even run, but I shouldn't have when looking, but I had to for fun. A lady from a place that I honestly love, dreary, sad places, and miserable faces is honestly all that I love. Does she like poets or walks or despots? I'll bang at my chance, the finest drum I got. When I ask for more, please don't say it's a lot. If you promise to age well, there are no promises from me. It's either you, because it will never be me. Does there exist a meadow where a line is drawn down to the beach? If a God exists, pray me. Why would I swim? I'd rather crawl across the sea. Thank you.
I filled up half a notebook of letters after we first broke up. Then I decided to rip those out and start writing letters to myself. In many ways, this is a letter to me because I don't think you'll ever hear this or see this. The weird thing about loss and grief is that me without you is never really just me. I guess that's how love works. There's no extracting the love, the care, the indelible mark or marks that someone has left on you. It's been almost 10 months since we ended things. I still don't understand the lessons. I still want to sunshine the spotless mind myself constantly. I'm still haunted by so many things, but mostly the completely foreign feeling of wishing I had never met you. How much of loving others is a practice of loving ourselves? How much of loving ourselves when they leave is a practice of loving the things about ourselves that they couldn't or wouldn't? I'm desperately trying to get comfortable with the love and yearning I still have for you. It feels like someone who is visiting that I can't ask to leave. I sit in a trance meditation workshop and practice metta, a loving kindness meditation, where I channel loving kindness from the deep recesses of my chest and send it out into the world, visualizing it in the form of waves. First ocean waves, then sound waves, then rays of light. Part of this practice is about sending loving kindness to your ops, to your haters, to those whom you have grown to hate, or perhaps those who hate you. Of course, you're somewhere in that list. I think of it and I think of you kind of like a hologram that I'm sending love and light to. The memory palace or whatever that I've concocted of you and what you are to me. To be left without knowing what really happened while simultaneously knowing that it was over is a paradoxical cage of sorts. I may never get those answers from you, and perhaps it was your final act of self-empowerment at my expense, perhaps your love of denial in its most exalted form. Part of why I think we love others and allow ourselves to be loved is to see the parts of ourselves get loved that we can't even love. And in witnessing that, we understand ourselves to be worthy of love outside of our own capacity for ourselves. I have to believe that there is somewhere that the lost love goes, that none of it is wasted, even if it does feel like, for the first time in my 36 years of loving, somewhat wasted.
Hey, you're just a representation of every idea I've rejected thus far. Why are you here again? What lesson do I need to learn? Maybe you're just here to make me learn the words, the answers, to finally break free, because y'all want me to justify this life that I'm living, because everybody thinks that I'm just fucking around, but there's a method to this madness, and I'm here to make a sound. Thank you.
There's a method to the madness.
There's two small faces with cheeks so soft, eyes so bright, smiles so wide. For this we've traveled to the other side of the world, arms outstretched, ready to embrace the two missing from our family equation, the ones born far away during COVID, the ones who were a surprise. We've only met briefly through virtual visits, which might as well be no visit at all, clucking our grandparents' sounds to two wary and distant little strangers. I've known their papa for 40 years, since I was only 27 when I married his father. A handsome boy, he was just 11 with the same toothy-wide grin that he bestowed on his children. A young boy who instantly gave me a long once-over as if to ask, "Who are you and why are you here?" A shell-shocked preteen recovering from years of unintended marital strife and the breakdown of his family. A boy who was skeptical, sarcastic, and would do his very best not to get too close to me or my two young children, or the children to come. This was a time when his father and I, all sunshine and flowers, caught up in a newly found unexpected romance with rose-colored glasses, were blending two young families into one, meshing a group of wary participants who had no vote and little choice in the matter. Barely old enough to be a stepmother, but too old to be a big sister, I navigated the minefield of settled traditions and habits and shifting alliances, sometimes gingerly, sometimes too forcefully. And so the years passed as we embraced our motley crew that could blow hot or cold depending on the day. All the while, we all circled warily as we each tried to find our footing, forging a sometimes uneasy truce that took us through the years. And then this boy finally left home, his mother's and ours. He just never came back after that. Perhaps it was wanderlust, perhaps it was his answer to the chaos of his young life, to move to the other side of the world, to Asia. So now we reunite, after a lifelong apart caused by his need to get away, his life choices, and COVID. We finally brought the mountain to Mohammed. We're drawn to this place not just to see him, but to meet the little ones and their mother, who are his family now. We've traversed continents so that the children will get to know their grandfather, who may never see them again, see us as family, and perhaps, if we're lucky, allow us to leave our mark. Their large brown eyes grow ever wider as they watch me resort to my grand bag of tricks. I'm seasoned at this, having done it so many times before. They smile as they see trucks, tea sets, and dinosaur and princess costumes lugged from oceans away. As I watch, I wonder, do they know that their blood does not run through my veins? Would they care if they knew? Distinctions that may be important to grown-ups, but as it turns out, distinctions that matter not to me or to them. Without any doubt, these are my grandchildren, as if I had given birth to their father. Family in every sense of the word. And perhaps, just maybe, through these two, the ones who have given him family for the future, I can finally revel in that long-hoped-for sense of connection to that 11-year-old boy from long ago. Love my children, love me, he seems to say, and I do.
Dear my babies, I'm still here today wondering, how did everything happen? I was very young. I was a child. Not only once or twice, I had to take lives away from an innocent child for my survival. After I was released from that era, my self-existence was questioned every morning, every night. I couldn't share my darkest time of my life to anybody, so I don't accept that had happened to myself for a very long time. Many decades, now I'm still trapped from where I left. The truth of the scars in my body I will not be able to make any more babies in my lifetime. No matter how much I wanted to become a mother, I will not get a chance to experience of giving a birth anymore. I am broken. I'm always wonder how I live together with this fact, which I can't accept. I'm writing this letter to let every life I couldn't meet and intertwine. I'm very sorry, and I know it was not my fault, but I wanted to confess. I have a fear and anger that is in this world. The imaginary lives that in my head, that world I needed to pay attention is current, but it is difficult. I wanted to write this letter to let you know you are missed and deeply loved, so as to myself. My love will be shared to the world that you couldn't experience, instead of holding grudge and looking at the world as the saddest person. Still, the depression keeps creeping in and out when I'm in my head too much. But I'm writing this letter as a sign of my manifest of I will live this life as where you want to come back and enjoy than leaving like I always wanted to in case. You are born today, in case you're born today and at someone else's baby. It doesn't matter my love for the missing you part is larger than my own life. I want you to know I will keep myself here in this world to be a sign of what we could have made together and share to the rest of the world to be a better and safer place for all of us together. I love you, I love you, I love you, my baby.